Hey y'all, welcome to Racing Crafts. Today is Quick Card Tuesday, and I'm going to make a quick card. Let's go ahead and get started. I've got two embossing folders I'm going to use today. I'm going to use the Paper Studios Quatrefoil and the Cuttlebug, and I just call it the Swirl cartridge. It's got a fancy name, but I don't know what it is. I have two 4 by 5 1/4 inch pieces of white cardstock, and my card base today is Hibiscus Burst Paper Tri-Ink card. And we'll go ahead and set that aside. And then I have a little butterfly I cut on my Cricut. It was one of the free cut files a couple weeks ago. And every week Cricut Craft Studio gives you free images, and what I do is when I find images that I like, I just cut a whole bunch of them. Like this is my butterfly bag here, and I've got some small ones like this, and then I've got some big ones like that. I just cut different sizes. I did the same. Here are some stars that I did. So that's what I do. I just cut a whole bunch of different sizes. Here, one of the free cut files a couple weeks ago were the Polaroid frames. So I just cut a whole bunch of different sizes, and I just keep them in Ziploc bags hanging up on my little hanger rack. So that's what this is. This is one of the free cut files, and I'm just going to use some Tim Holtz Distress Stains, and then I've got some silks by Lumiere, and I've got Emperor's Gold, and I might throw a little bit of that on there just for some shimmer and shine. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just gonna, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this, but I guess we'll find out as we go. I just want to I should have started with my pink, my lightest color here, but that's alright. And I'm going to throw a little bit of red in here. And I wanted this, what is it, pickled raspberry to be the primary color on this, so I'm just going to fill in the spaces with that. Just like that. And that's done. I'm going to pick it up, and I'm just going to grab a paper towel, and I'm just going to clean up my space here. I've got a little squirter of water, but my squirt part doesn't work on it, so I'm just going to kind of drop a few drops. Alright, and that's just going to pick up the rest of that ink. Okay. Oops, I folded its little tentacle back. That's alright. And I'm going to grab my heat gun and just kind of give it a little dry here. that. Alright, now I'm going to throw these back in my drawer up here. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Swirls embossing folder and I'm going to go ahead and give it a little emboss here. And while I'm at it, I'm going to emboss one of those white layers. Oops. And I'm sorry for shaking the camera there. Alright. Okay. And I'm going to pull this one aside. And I'm going to go ahead and send the next one through. Back the other way. If you guys haven't had a chance to check out the Paper Studio embossing folders, you really should, because they work just as well. And they cost like half the price. And there's some really cute ones. So there is my background piece. And I'm going to pull out my butterfly. And I think I might hit it just one more time with my heat gun here. I should have used or moved my plastic mat there, but that's alright. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and grab that Lumiere paint and grab a paintbrush here. And I'm just gonna, there's some paint on these embossed ridges here, just to kind of pop them out a little bit. It doesn't take a lot of this paint, but I really seem to like it so far. And if you haven't ever heard of it, as I hadn't when I found it, and the only reason I bought it was like $2.99 in the bin at Michael's, and it was so shimmery and pretty, and I went, I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I've got to have it. And then I came home and watched some videos and learned a little bit about it. This is really about the first time I've really used it. But it's really pretty.
The girl that's working inside during the day is going to New York trying to deal with her grandma.
Oh, okay. I think you told me that. I didn't remember. Sorry.
There we go. And if you're quicker with a paintbrush, this would be much quicker for Quick Card Tuesday, but I'm not real great with paintbrush, so that's why it's taking me a little bit longer. You could probably just use your finger too. Oops. You could also too, if you wanted, use some shimmer paint, or, you know, I wouldn't use like sparkling H2Os or anything like that that you would have to mix water with, because y'all know that water and distress things play together. Like I said, you could probably just dip your finger in and just, you know, paint over the ridges here. Or if you wanted, if you didn't want to emboss it, you could just, you know, freehand the design. Sorry.
Because this jerk thinks he
You could paint.
hardball it.
You could go ahead and just paint on whatever kind of design you wanted. You could put it on a stamp and stamp it. You could, you know, if you had a really cool image, you could heat emboss it on. But there is that with this yummy Emperor Gold silk paint. And I'm just going to drop my brush in some water back here. Alright, so there is that. And I'm going to go ahead and start getting my card together here. And I'm just going to put my white embossed piece on there, just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and put my oops, move my mat on me. Yeah. No. Put my mat in. And this paint dries really quick. So how cute would it have been had I done a second one? You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Grab my pieces. And I'm going to start with a little.
What did they say about it?
And I'm going to just go ahead and fill in.
Well, I don't know that it was so much was necessarily a Barnes & Noble thing. I know it was Amazon.
There we go.
And it was, they somehow or another, they were screwing people from buying ebooks.
And I'm going to grab my paper towel again. And just clean that up. And this time I am going to slide. I'm going to just do this off camera here. Sorry about that, but I'm just going to dry it. And I think what I'm going to do on this one is I think I'm going to go ahead and do that second idea I had, where I'm just going to stamp it with a stamp and emboss it. And I think what I'm going to do is grab I'm looking for my stamp set that I want to use. I bet it's in here, isn't it? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use that one. And I'm going to emboss it, actually. I think that's a neat idea. That just kind of popped in my head. And I'm just going to use some gold embossing powder. Super fine. And I'm just going to pop a little powder here. And I'm going to put this on a little post-it note here. And I'm just going to ink it up with my Versamark. And I didn't even bother mounting the stamp, as you can see. I just kind of inked it and pushed it down. And now I'm just going to grab my tweezers. The neat thing is I can just set those aside. That's not what I wanted to do. Uh-oh. I should have checked it probably before I stamped it. And it's okay to hold it there. Alright. And I'm just going to set that aside and pull my heat tool in here. And I'm going to switch my butterfly around and finish. Alright, and there is the little butterfly with that second technique. And I'm going to grab some little foam dots here, pop dots. And I'm going to put those on the wings, the outside of the wings. And I'm just going to grab a little bit of the sticky tape. And I'm just gonna cut. There we go. Just cut it down a little bit. Which, believe it or not, you can do. I wouldn't recommend trying to cut it down without some non-stick scissors, though. Of course, I don't even know if I'm on. I don't think I'm on camera anymore. Oops, I've got embossing powder everywhere. Alright, so I just got a little score tape. And I put that on what would be the body. And I just want to make sure I got all the powder wiped up. Alright, and then I'm going to just peel my backing pieces off. There we go. And I'm going to start by placing the body. And then I'm going to put the wings. Except I think I need to move this just a tiny bit, because we're hanging just a little bit off our page. And that would be cool, but it does have to fit in an envelope. And I'm just going to do the same thing, except I'm going to have to use my smaller pieces here. And instead of using half of a regular circle pop dot, I'm using a quarter on this little butterfly. Oops. You're too big. Okay. And I'm just gonna do a tiny, if I can get it stuck. Tiny piece of my sticky tape on the body. And I'm just gonna do the same thing. Peel off the pop dot covers and oops, I stuck him out too far. There we go. Just like that. And I'm gonna reach up in here and grab this love stamp. I'm gonna flip this card open, and I'm gonna use a little bit of fuchsia pink. No, I'm gonna use hibiscus to match the paper, except I'm gonna stamp off once here. Okay. I just have the little trial size hibiscus dye from ink from Paper Tray Ink, and I'm just gonna stamp love right there, and that is our card. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see y'all next time.